Latest in the Catalonia crisis, the Spanish government says it will press ahead with suspending Catalan autonomy. Spanish Prime Minister will hold a cabinet meeting on Saturday to trigger the process to take control of Catalonia's powers. Spain is likely to trigger Article 155 of the Constitution, which allows it to suspend Catalonia's autonomy. The special cabinet meeting was called after Catalan leader Carles Puigdemont said the regional parliament could vote on a formal declaration of independence from Spain if the central government failed to agree to talks. Madrid had set October 19th as the deadline for the regional government to back down from a symbolic independence declaration made last week. This was Puigdemont's last chance to abandon an independence declaration, which Madrid has rejected as illegal and thus diffused Spain's biggest political crisis since a failed military coup in 1981.
Y por ello continuará con los trámites previstos en el artículo 155 de la Constitución, con el objetivo de restaurar la legalidad en Cataluña.
And joining us this evening, Elizabeth Castro, who's an American author and is based in Barcelona. Good evening, Elizabeth. My first question to you, how do you see this playing out? Barcelona wants talks, Madrid wants it to first abandon that the Declaration of Independence, the symbolic Declaration of Independence. So this is again an impasse, and with Article 155 now being pressed into action, do you fear more tension and violence?
Well, the Catalan government is going ahead with the democratic mandate that it received at the polls when it was elected in 2015 and in the referendum that took place on October 1st. The Spanish government said that there would be no referendum, there would be no ballot boxes, and in fact they were unable to make that not happen. We did have a referendum. More than 2 million people braved police brutality to be able to express themselves at the polling centers, and the results were absolutely practically unanimous. 90% of the people in Catalonia who voted in the referendum would like independence. So that is what the Catalan government has said that should happen. The Catalan government took a step back and said, look, we're willing to talk to you, but we need to listen to what the people have asked for. And the Spanish government has continued to say, no, 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 we will never talk to you, we will never listen to you, we will never open a dialogue, even though 80% of the people in Catalonia have insisted on voting, using democracy to solve this issue.
Stay with us, Elizabeth. For those of our viewers who haven't followed what's happened in Spain, let's take them through how the past month has been like. Madrid is suspending Catalonia's autonomy since separatist leader Carles Puigdemont has not abandoned his bid for independence. Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy's government will be triggering Article 155 of Spain's constitution and thus impose direct rule over Catalonia. Puigdemont, on his part, is now set to declare independence. Remember, an overwhelming 90% of the people had voted to split from Spain in the banned referendum on the 1st of October. Catalonia is just one of the 17 autonomous regions of Spain. It has its own language and generates a fifth of Spain's 1.1 trillion euro economy. The instability has hurt the economy. More than 800 companies have moved their headquarters out of Catalonia due to the standoff. It is likely that the move to impose direct rule over Catalonia may prove counterproductive and further aggravate the crisis. So what is the crisis and how has it developed over the past few years? The spark for the independence movement was lit during the 2008 economic crisis when Catalan leaders began to demand devolution, saying the region has not been getting support even though it has been contributing more to the nation's coffers. In 2010, the Constitutional Court struck down the 2006 agreement for autonomy to Catalonia. 1 million people marched through Barcelona in protest. Pro-secession movement parties won the election that followed. In 2012, there was a huge show of strength in Catalonia's National Day on the 11th of September. Madrid snubbed Catalonia by striking down the demand for financial autonomy. In 2014, Catalans went ahead with an independence vote despite court injunctions. Madrid's Constitutional Court struck down the vote as illegal. The European Union rallied for a united Spain. In 2015, the EU said Catalonia will not get European Union membership. In June this year, the Catalan president announced a new independence vote, but in September, the Constitutional Court suspended the independence vote as illegal. There was a crackdown on Catalan officials and ballot papers were seized. On the 1st of October, Catalonia voted overwhelmingly for independence, and on the 5th of October, the Spanish court blocked the independence declaration yet again. On the 17th of this month, that's just 2 days back, hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets to protest against the detention of two prominent pro-independence leaders. And today, as the deadline passed, Spain has said it will press ahead with suspending Catalan autonomy. Elizabeth, I come back to you with the question, have the Catalonian leaders lost their best chance, if they had a chance, at gaining independence, at getting independence, by walking away from the brink?
No, the best chance for Catalans to win independence is to listen to the mandate of the people. And that is what the government is trying to do. That is why it has stepped back for a moment to encourage dialogue, which is what Europe and the rest of the world, some of the leaders had asked the Catalan president to do. The Catalan president was perfectly willing to say, look, we want to talk to Madrid, but it's Madrid that refuses to talk. It's Madrid that has been threatening, for example, Belgium about the position of the Europol persons. They have been threatening Belgium that they will take back their support. They've been threatening Slovenia for their support. Spain doesn't want to talk because it knows that Catalonia has a point and it has reasonable grievances that need to be addressed, and it has refused to listen to those. And so by blocking any kind of dialogue, Spain is creating this disruptive atmosphere. You mentioned the 800 companies that have changed their company's address. They haven't actually moved out of Catalonia. That nobody has moved their offices. Nobody has moved any factories. That's the story from Spain to make people afraid. But those companies have not actually moved. They've just changed their address. And they've done so many times at the insistence of the Spanish government and even the Spanish monarchy. There were reports that the king had called the factory in the SEAT company in Barcelona and insisted that it change its headquarters. And it's done that to a number of companies. That is no way to come to a solution. Spain is the one that is pushing this to the edge. It refuses to open up any kind of negotiations or dialogue. This is the way it's been acting very heavy-handedly the entire time, and that is what is creating the problem. That is what is pushing up the prime rate. 125 points now. If Spain wants to solve this issue, it needs to begin talking, and the rest of Europe and the rest of the world should tell it to do so.
Right. Elizabeth Castro, thanks very much. Spain is going to be talking to some world leaders. Mr. Rajoy due to attend an EU summit in Brussels this afternoon. And on Saturday, as we said, the government is expected to draw up a list of specific measures under Article 155 of the Constitution, launching the transfer of powers from Catalonia to Madrid. As for those who say this was an overwhelming case of people voting for independence, yes, 90% voted, but 90% of the 43% Catalonians who turned out to cast their votes. So do the math there.